And we start this very day by making it abundantly clear that the greatest enemy of a black man is the way that we reason. If not that the way we reason is very, very abhorrent, there is no need or reason why we should be suffering and complaining every blessed day without the courage to do something about it.
I want every one of you to remember these three words. Nigerians, we are no more. Southeasterners and Southerners, we cannot become. And Biafrans, we must be.
Nigeria is the terrorist, not we, not Biafrans. So Finland, you need to get that clear first. You need to know who is committing the act of terrorism. As of today, the Nigerian state, headed by Tinubu and Christopher Musa, continues to unleash act of terrorism against innocent Biafrans. They killed.
The program you're about to watch is coming from the United States of Biafra Media, the ITPS. I want you to pay attention to every information that you're going to hear in this video. It is very educating and it will inform you of the situation in the Zoological Republic of Nigeria and what is going on in the United States of Biafra. Pay attention from the beginning to the end. Every information in this platform is very important. We are here to promote the United States of Biafra under the command of our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoko, and on the Supreme Command of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, today under the leadership of the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Oreboweze. Pay attention from the beginning to the end, and you'll be glad you did. Let's watch and hear what the media is presenting.
In response to the Yellow massacre that claimed over 200 lives, President Bola Tinubu has directed his secretary to the government, Senator George Akume, to form and coordinate a high-level committee aimed at restoring peace in Benue State. This committee, comprising former governors, traditional leaders like the Tortiv and Ochidoma, and key community stakeholders, will meet with the president in Abuja to design actionable strategies to end the violence. During a recent town hall session in Makurdi, Tinubu criticized the delayed arrest following the killings, instructing the police and security chiefs to expedite investigations and enforce justice, while reassuring citizens of the federal government's full support to bring perpetrators to book. Well, despite these efforts, former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi have questioned the timing and sincerity of the president's visit, warning that Tinubu's lack of empathy may undermine the healing process. Well, Farotimi argued it would have been better if the president didn't go, citing that the only impactful remark during the visit came from the Tortiv, who denounced the attacks as calculated genocide against Benue communities. With morning still fresh and survivors living in fear, locals are urging accountability and tangible action to ensure that past atrocities are not repeated. Whereas President Bola Tinubu gets over to Kaduna State for project commissioning amidst criticisms. The president is moving over to Kaduna State, or he's gone to Kaduna State to commission projects and all of that. Well, let's stay with Benue here. And I think there is a video where the president made comments about incidents in Benue State and how human lives should be valued more than that of cows. The producer, you might need to put it on. Let's have a voice of the president saying all that he said during that visit in the hospital.
The value of life, human life, is greater than that of a cow. And it's only when you open the door for conflict that political enemy will come in. Political enemies, they don't want you to succeed. Have you just realizing that, Governor?
All right, and that was the president speaking. Some people have said, look, that's a mix of condolence and politics, but we'll get into all of that. as we are joined in the studio here by Mr. Dele Farimo. Now, Dele is a seasoned reporter and VOP in-house analyst. We also have Mr. Lawale Kundaya, who is an educationist and public affairs commentator. And we'll be joined virtually by Professor Emmanuel Odue Estue. He's the professor with the Benue State University, Makurdi, and he's the immediate past head of the Department of Religion and Cultural Studies. Gentlemen, thanks for being part of the morning show. Good morning, Dele. Good morning, Mr. Kundaya.
It's always my pleasure. Good morning.
Okay, good morning, Prof. Good to have you on VOP this morning.
Hello?
Hello, Prof. I can hear you. Good morning, Professor
Yes,
Emmanuel.
the voice is very, very low. I am not here. Good morning.
Okay, but I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me now?
What I'm trying to say is that the voice is very, I'm not hearing you properly.
Prof, can you hear me now?
Okay, a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks for joining us.
I think I'm hearing what you are saying.
Okay, very well then. Thanks for joining us on VOP this morning. I understand that you are somewhere in Benue State, right? Okay. So, and the president has visited after the killing.
I'm in Makurdi, the capital of Benue State.
The capital city. Very well then. Very well. It's good to have you, sir. The president just visited Benue State and commiserated with the people. It was more like a condolence, and we all saw what happened in Benue State. Now, the president, while leaving, or after he left, he now set up a committee headed by the former governor, and that committee also includes former governors of Benue State and other people, including the Tortiv and Ochi Idoma, leaders of Benue State. Now, how much of that committee do you think is going to make an impact, given the fact that we have people that have served in government while these problems persisted? Do you think that the committee is going to solve any problem? Meanwhile, they are to move over to Abuja, to meet with the president to devise actionable strategies that will more like solve the problem. What do you think of that committee that's been set up by the president?
Well, thank you so much for that question. Let me explain to you that we have had committees to investigate killings in Benue State. Some of the committees were initiated by His Excellency governors of Benue State from 2011 to this time. Now, all of these committees made proposals. Proposals are there on the shelf somewhere, dusting up, and nothing has been done. Well, this one too, we want to believe the president that he has a good will for Benue State, and therefore he has inaugurated this committee to look into these issues. But what we are saying is not just a matter of committee. I think we should grow past the level of committee now. There are basic issues that the federal government and the state government are fully aware, and proposals have already been made to these governments. It's just a matter of them implementing the proposals that are there. For instance, there is a prohibition of open grazing law in Benue State since 2017. The government needs to enforce that law, both the federal and state government. We shouldn't be having animals roaming around in Benue State where 99% are farmers and they are sustained by these farming activities or crops.
All right,
So
Professor.
hello,
Prof, can you hear me, sir? Yes, Prof.
Yes,
Prof,
I can
yes,
hear you.
very well then. I like the fact that you talked about anti-grazing law. But before then, you said that there are issues. Professor, what are the issues fueling the crisis in Benue State? Can you walk us through all of that to the best of your understanding? What are the real issues?
Hello?
Prof, I can hear you,
Hello?
sir. I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello, Prof, I can hear you.
But the last statement you made, I didn't hear it. So
Prof,
that's what
now my question is this.
So that
I like the fact that you talked about the issues. What are the issues fueling
your last statement, please. if you wouldn't mind, you can pardon me.
Yes, I get you. What are the issues fueling the crisis in Benue State? Can you walk us through all of that? What are the real issues in Benue State that is fueling the crisis, the killings?
Well, Prof, if you can hear us, I think where you were initially, we had better reception. So you can do us a favor of returning to where you were. I just hope that you can hear us clearly. We really love to have this conversation with you since you are on ground in Benue State. So if you can do us the favor, return to the location you were because the reception was a whole lot better. I know you're moving around because you're trying to get the clear reception so you can hear us, but we can hear you. We can hear you. So if you heard the question asked by my colleague, please just go ahead.
Okay, so what was...
Hello, Prof. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, now my question is
yes, I am hearing you.
Okay, very well then. Very well. Now, you said that there are issues. I would like for you to walk us through the issues. What are the issues fueling the crisis in Benue State? Because you also made mention of the anti-grazing law and that animals should not be roaming the streets. What are the issues in Benue State? Hello, Prof. Can you hear me, sir? Okay,
hello,
I think
Professor.
we might have to. Sorry, Moses. We might need to take time to fix all of that. Your connection before we come back to you. Let's come back to the studio here. Mr. Dele Fanimo, the president has set up a committee, and the committee is made up of former governors, the cultural leaders, the traditional rulers in Benue State. Now, like the professor said, this is not the first time that committees have been set up. There are reports that are gathering dust, in the shelves. Government offices, both at the national and at the state level. What is the import of another committee being set up? Especially given the fact that these people have to go to Abuja to meet with the president and all of that. Do you think that it's going to solve any problem?
For me, it's just a ritual. And most times when issues like this come up, the route is to set up committees, and they tend to meet profile solutions that nobody ever implements. We have had plethora of committees, reports that nobody has touched. Even the national conference, the Constituent Assembly and all that, up to now, nobody has even bothered to revisit some of those committees' reports. And I don't see this one going to being an exception to what we've always had. I think for me, we don't need to paper over this. What we should expect from government and what we are expecting from government is to take decisive actions. There are pointers to why these people are attacking, and there are pointers to who are behind this. And if all we gather from reports and from interviews of people that are locals in that area is anything to go by, then it was clear, according to a video that we all watched, that these people took off from a village in Nasarawa to perpetrate these acts, which means they were never locals. So that puts paid to any insinuation that these people were fighting over communal land. These are external aggressors. Because if they were to be part of the communities, they would have been located around one or two communities fighting against the other community. So that has negated any proposal or any idea of these are our people fighting against us. Now, it was also alleged that some soldiers in the military were also part of this gang that went to destroy those villages. Apart from that, these people were allegedly trained in Nasarawa. So, is it the committee led by SGM that has other responsibilities of government as the clearinghouse of the current government, that will now abandon its duty post and begin to find solution to Benue's problem? Or is it the traditional ruler that will leave his palace to chase after these marauders?
Well, the Chief of Defense Staff did say that members of the community, if some members of the community provided accommodation to the attackers, gave them food, and gave them some, the women, but how do you react to that coming from the Chief of Defense Staff without pointing to anybody being arrested?
You see, sometimes when people will expect to have risen above certain foibles, begins to exhibit this kind of traits, you would ask yourself, how did these people get to that position? How could you tell me, how can you now tell me as Chief of Defense Staff that Benue is a flashpoint? It's been a flashpoint over the years. And strange people came into that community and some other communities that were not part of that community, and you got wind of it, you didn't send your intelligence corps to investigate. The fact that they mingle with the community, they may have come for some other things, ostensibly pretending to be coming for another thing, maybe even supporting the community to do their own recce. And at that point, you are supposed to also go in there and find out if you have that foreknowledge, if you have that intel that some people are infiltrating communities that are not members of these communities, and you provide them according to their age bracket, the language they speak, and the modus of coming to that village. But none of that was done. Intelligence is not gathered in the city centers, especially in a place where they are prone to attacks by foreigners. So, all right, the Chief of Defense Staff is just telling us that there's intelligence failure.
Okay, let's go to Benin, where we have Comrade Bobby Obayowana. Comrade, good morning once again. Good morning to you. We haven't established communication yet. Good morning to you, Comrade. Well, I hope you can hear me so we get into this conversation without delay. Okay, I can see you, Comrade. Good morning to you. Now, I have a bit of a problem hearing you, but I hope that can be fixed so we can take your contribution to the program. But my question is, it borders on the creation of a committee to look into the crisis in Rivers State, committee comprising former governors. Now, these were governors who, some of them, during their time, faced insecurity in the state. What do you think they'll be bringing to the table? What solution will they be bringing at this time that they were not able to implement during their time as herdsmen of the state? You might need to unmute your microphone so we can take your audio.
For me, what we are seeing is part of the political rhetorics that not just the good people of Nigerians are tired of, but generally the majority of Nigerians are tired of. Committees have been consistently set up in Benue State from as far back as 2011 till date. None of those reports have reflected any improvement in the security architecture of the good people of Benue State. Now, His Excellency has set up another committee again that is to be chaired by the Secretary to the Federal Government and the former governor of Benue State, George Akume. For me, this committee can only prove us wrong if it does not fall under the category of the previous political rhetorics that Nigerians are tired of. Because the problem of Benue State is no longer about consistently setting up committees that don't give us reports that reflect practical intelligence reports. There is no security organogram to effectively marshal out some of the findings from these reports. In fact, most of these reports are not even known. I could remember what the president said when he said that if the current Benue State governor gives opportunity for political enemies to come into the state, that they will trample his administration and destroy the security architecture as a result. And that is bordering on the political competence of the governor of Benue State just now. The good people of Benue State decided to give their political patrimony and mandate to a reverend father who before now was used to serving mass in a Catholic church. Now, expecting him to perform the constitutional requirements and fundamental duty of protecting the lives and property of the good people of Benue State. However, this reverend father, or should I say political reverend father now, is now beginning to show telltale signs of incompetence in terms of handling the security, architectural affairs of the good people of Benue State. We are not about committees here. Let the committees reflect the type of reality that the good people of Benue State want to be part of. And that is
the man who happens to be the governor of Benue State, being a priest, being the challenge, Comrade Bobby, you said something about him. I'm talking about High Saint Aliyah being a priest, and that was actually what made him to be incompetent about manning that position. Can you help us walk through the persons who have been governors of Benue State up until this particular time? We have the likes of Otom, we have Soswan, and we know that when Otom was there, was one who had the first grave massacre in that particular state. He wasn't a priest, he was just a lay person, yet that issue actually happened during that particular time he was there. Are we limited it to the qualification